Peace, 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 peace. I greet you in the name of the Most High, whoever, whatever you call the Most High. Welcome to another episode with Original OG, aka Uncle from Omega FM Radio.co.uk, where we give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, trying to be the voice of reasoning. Please share, subscribe, and leave your comments. Your comments are well appreciated. Mr. Trevor Dixon, step to me.
Omega, Omega, Omega FM.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dixon. All right, now, I've been hearing certain rumors and disparity things that's being said about Gambia that they target people from the diaspora, meaning African Caribbean, African Americans, African British, right? And I hear what they're saying, but I can't agree with it because they're using one of them as a main reference. The main reference is a lady from the UK. Her name is Shakina Chinadu, right? She was 60, was murdered in Simchang village, Gambia in February 2024. A suspect, Augustus Bangura, was arrested, confessed to the killing, and his trial is ongoing as early as 2025. Now, who is this individual? Right? Augustus Bangura, identified as a Sierra Leone national, was arrested and reportedly confessed to the murder. He is also accused of stealing items, including cash, laptops, and cameras from her apartment. Now, this was not that she was targeted. This was a dispute, right, over some kind of payment. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people make statements about, oh, well, they target Caribbean people and they don't like Caribbean people. And that's not true. Bob Marley done a song saying, don't let them fool you. No, no. Don't let them fool you, because that's not the way it is. Gambia is a nice place, right? Anywhere you go, you're going to get crime. It's just a given, right? Now, they might say to you, well, oh, they'll want to poison you, and I'm saying no. They don't want to poison you. We as people from the diaspora, we can't eat any and everything. Their hygiene is different from the hygiene we know. Our system is not used to their bacteria. Like I can drink tap water in the UK, but I couldn't drink tap water in Jamaica or America or Gambia because my system is not used to that bacteria. So when people from a diaspora go down to Gambia, Africa, and get sick, a lot of the time it's food poisoning. I did get food poisoning, but it wasn't from no Gambian, it was from a Jamaican restaurant. I'm not gonna call their name because I'm not trying to ruin their business. I spoke to them about it already. All right. Now, Gambian people, I have two brethren from Gambia, right? One is called Alex from Sokoto, right? And the other one is Keba from Lamin. These individuals take me here and there and everywhere. They're like my protector and like my bodyguard, right? And to be honest, they've taken a risk for me, but it's a long story. The point I'm trying to give to you is to have a picture of these individuals. A lot of you have been there already, so you may have the same picture as I have. Some of you haven't been there and looking at it from a different perspective. I just want you to have a fair understanding or understanding. All right? Gambia is a nice place. The children, how do you know Gambia is nice? Because when you look and see, uh, one morning I got up around 7:30, sat on a wall, and I noticed like 4 and 5 year old children going to school by themselves, no escort. And it was like, whoa, the parents feel comfortable to allow their children, boys and girls, to go to school by themselves, and the children feel comfortable. That tells you about the society. That society, they take care of elderly. Over here, picture a 4 or 5 year old child going to school by itself. Over there, you will see children walking on the streets. 9 year old taking care of the 8 year old, the 8 year old taking care of the 7 year old, down to about like maybe 2.5 year old. You don't see that in the UK, right? So when somebody's telling you about Gambia, yes, will people dislike you because who you are? Come on, that's just a given. Anywhere you go, people just look at you and just don't like you for whatever reason it is. Right? They'll talk about, well, oh, the crime rate is high in Gambia. Yeah, the crime rate is high in Gambia, depending from what perspective you're looking at it. Because they're not speaking about a crime rate in the UK or the United States or Jamaica. So you can't A and B Gambia to there where you're not doing it. Try and A and B it. But maybe it's because under Barrow had zero tolerance for any kind of crime. So therefore, if you stole something, you might lose a leg, right, or an arm. Under Barrow now, it was like time came in and crime starts to increase. Now remember that the man that killed the British female, he came from Sierra Leone. A lot of the crime is being committed from people from Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Sierra Leone, right? They're the ones that's bringing in the crime because Gambian on the overall within their DNA, they are loving people. Right? Now, this is David. David is a African American residing in Gambia for umpteen years. While he was there, right? While he was there, uh, read start from here. Good morning, Gambia. All because of a single joint of weed. 71-year-old David was arrested in his own home in Batu Kanku. He was humiliated in front of his children and neighbors, detained at Bruceby police station and later released on bail. 4 months later, just when he thought it was all behind him, he was summoned to court in Bandung and charged with possession of prohibited drugs under the selection of Blasi of the Drug Control Amendment Act 2024. David pled guilty before Magistrate Ensor Starr. The prosecutor asked for an adjournment to present the case details, which the court granted, and David was sent to Mile 2 prison until November the 10th. While in prison, his dreadlocks were grown. While in prison, his dreadlocks, grown for decades, were cut off, stripping him of part of his identity. His son flew in from the United States to fight for his release. Yesterday, they met with a lawyer, and today they will file a motion for an adjournment of time, hoping to secure his early release before November the 10th. All right. Now, 71-year-old David has now spent a whole week in prison after being illegally remanded by Magistrate Ensor Sa of Bandung Magistrate Court for having just one joint of weed. We say illegally because he is not supposed to sit in prison for more than 2 weeks waiting for sentencing, asked any sensible lawyer. On Monday, October the 18th, when David arrived at the Bandung court, he was instructed to wait. The DLEAG, that's the uh, Drug Law Enforcement Agency prosecutor Bin Dong Banjong went to Magistrate Ensor's office, and the two were inside for nearly an hour. Shortly after the meeting, David was called to the stand. When the charge was read to him, he pled guilty and asked the magistrate for leniency. Prosecutor Bin then requested an adjournment to provide the case details, which was granted. But remember, David was arrested back in June 2025, released on bail. Uh, Released on bail. The DLEAG had his file for more than 4 months. So why was Binter suddenly asked for more time? It was all part of a rabba plan. I don't know what the hell is rabba. Right? After the hearing, Magistrate Ensor ordered David to be remanded at Mile 2, but then Binter pulled David aside and told him, I can help you avoid going to prison. Give me a 100 G's or 100,000 Dalasi as a deposit, and you can go home until November the 10th. That's about £1,000. David's children in the US managed to send 50,000, which David handed over. Binter told him to bring the rest on Thursday, October the 21st. She even drove all the way to his house in Batu Kuntu, talked with him, and left with his American passport. The same evening, David confided in a friend, who, by the way, is an SIS officer, and told him everything. The friend called Binter to ask why she took money from David. The next morning, Binter called David furiously. She told him to come to court immediately. When he arrived, she returned the money and snapped, I was going to help you, and you went and told others, I'm taking you to prison. Prison today. David was handcuffed on the spot and taken to mile 2. They shaved off his dreadlocks. Later he was moved to Jeswang prison. Now here's the big question. Why wasn't Binter charged with contempt? The magistrate ordered David to be remanded. yet she let him go home. That's a serious violation. So what's stopping Enzo from taking action? Because exposing Bintu would also expose him. Why David is still in prison? We attempt to find a lawyer to file a motion for an abridgment of time, but David's family explained the members of the African diaspora in the Gambia had already hired a PA, Harry Jamith, to represent him. Magistrate Enza is now trying to manage the situation amid public pressure. A motion was filed, but he is said to have ignored it, possibly to avoid looking like he's bound to public pressure. It continues. All right. Now, this is David. On the right hand, depending on how you're seeing it, what you can see is the dreadlocks. On the next side, you see they trimming. All right. Now, as far as David is concerned, I was speaking to a young lady that come from that same neighborhood, and she said they've known him for umpteen years. And for all these umpteen years, everybody loved him. He had the buildings, he had land. People go onto the land, they pick their fruits, take what they want, no problem. Children go and get candies, no, pardon me, no problem. All right. Then what was the problem? Apparently, from what the conversation, the way it goes, is that the the David knew the elder chief. I can't remember what they call their chief over there, but it was the elder chief. He knew him for years, right? Now the elder chief passed away, and here comes the son, long eye, red eye, and depraved. Want to know how this dread acquire so much land? So because he started to plot against David, right? He called the police. Zero tolerance for marijuana, right? They come and they arrest him. Now, this is the community's outcry, right? Lamin Mfati, my big boss, I'm praying for you. Quickest form to require freedom. All right, that's Lamin Mfati. Baya Baba endowed. The funny thing is they smoke weed before coming to court and get jail someone for smoking weed. Baya Bambu Nadu. Pa Camera. This is horrible. Why cutting his dreadlocks? How many people smoke weed among the police, PIU, immigration, cabinet parliament, cabinet Gambian embassies? That's per camera, right? Now, Fatu Duba, Gambia will borrow. It is even necessary to cut off his dreadlocks. So the dread has a large support, right? This is not the Gambian government. First of all, the corruption is within the uh, the government itself. Meaning, like if you go to Jamaica and you're driving and you get for speeding or whatever, and it's four police, one of them will say to you, "So what you can do for yourself?" All right? I said, "Well, boy," and you will turn on and say, "Pick a hand, right hand or left hand." All right? So if you say left hand, all right, I'm going to leave you a ticket. But if you say right hand, right, no, no, if you say a right hand, I'm going to write you up a ticket, a big ticket. If you say a left hand, then you're going to leave something in his hand. But when you're leaving, it's not for one. So you say, oh, boy, I'm going to take a left hand. All right, so it's not for one police, it's for six police. But that's just the way it goes. All right, that's not even the issue right now because Gambia is zero tolerance. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, I've been through horrors. It's zero tolerance. That's not the issue, right? The issue is, right, is did they have a right to cut his dreads? Now, the the law in Gambia from under colonialism that you could not have dreadlocks, right? Under Jammy is the same thing. You couldn't have dreadlocks. Under Barrow, you couldn't have dreadlocks. Going into the penitentiary, that's the thing. Going into the penitentiary. What they done to the dread for a spliff is injustice. We know that. But underneath their law, right? That we know they could have just cut the dread loose, gave him a little fine, but they wanted to be nasty. And this is where it comes down to where they have to do more investigation. To investigate the prosecutor, the magistrate, they have to investigate who the complainant was. Why did the police have a job to do? So once they come and see the marijuana, that's their job. But who sent them there in the first place? All right. So with that, that's something totally different. But when it comes to the rights, of individuals, right? The the government has zero tolerance on religion. You can't say nothing negative about religion. Cool, no problem. We understand that. But the question is, somebody as a Rastafarian going into their penitentiary, nobody's saying break the law or fight the government, but what you are saying is change policies. Because in the US and the UK, it's recognized, Rastafarian is recognized as a religion through the Vatican. Gambia is speaking about democracy. If it's under democracy, then once they reach in the penitentiary, because it's not, if it's a hygiene problem, then it's understandable. If it's not a hygiene problem, right? If it's not a hygiene problem, then they're supposed to be allowed to go in the penitentiary and adhere to what their religious belief is. It's a new dawning. As I said, right, that nobody's saying to fight against the government because the government respects the Rastafarian community. I want you to.
Yeah, he's back home. The man himself.
Give thanks. Finally reached.
He's a free man. He always was a free man. He can't persecute the rest of the man.
We're going to call here the torture coast instead of the smiling coast. Not easy. They don't care nothing about this work we've been doing. They're just pure opportunists, wicked. They call themselves Muslims, but they don't believe in nothing. They just believe in money.
You're bridging, you know.
Far right?
Yeah.
Far right. We finally reach home, Aya.
Just walk through the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. We gotta build up an army, Aya. We gotta
Listen.
build up an army.
Listen.
You alright? Give thanks. Give thanks. Yeah. Yes, I. I'll do that. Give thanks. Alright. It's that easy. My son's been holding it down. Yeah. You alright? Not easy.
Enough love, they show the dread.
Let me get you on the video. Yeah, let me get on video so you can see where I go.
All right, so that's the Ras. All right, he's home. They trim him. It's part of their law. You can't really say much, all right, because that's the way it is. But the thing I'm saying though is that as a Rastafarian, all right, you're still supposed to have rights. And Nati, I hope and pray that somebody can get this video to you, all right, to say stand firm because the community supports you. You can hear what I played, I read out earlier on. And there was one more that lady didn't mention. Sorry, where is it? She said, I understand the Gambian is part of him. Well, this is Abdul and Rachel. I understand the Gambian is part of him and the land of his wife. But after this, coming from our corrupt Gambian police force and magistrate Sar, if I was in his shoes, I would sell all my property and I'd move to a decent country where his culture and religion will be respected. Sending a 71-year-old to mile 2 for a joint inhumane, while the big rats are in big heifers roaming loose. Alright? I can understand, but Nati, what I'd like you to understand, Rastas has always been persecuted, and you should be the vanguard, meaning, right, that if this is what takes place in the penitentiary, it's too late. They already trim you. Sorry to hear that. You understand? I really and truly am sorry to hear that. But since they trim you, then you can be the vanguard for any Rastas that saying that they are Rastas and they're going in the penitentiary. And not only that, you should join up with this Rastafarian. He was running for president a couple of years ago. Jatta, right? Team up with him. Be a vanguard because you've got support from your community, right? Meaning the Gambians, right? You will have support from the Rastafarian entertainers that's coming in because remember this, Gambia needs money. All right, I'm not going to go through it too long, but it's not what Africa can do for us, it's what we can do for Africa. All right, Africa needs our dollars, our cents, our pounds. So nobody's saying for you to cause no uprising or anything. No, 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 no. But what I am saying is that you can form a coalition. You can be the vanguard, all right, for people and from the diaspora. And why do I say that? Because when Alex and Kevin take me here and everywhere, right? Uh, they have this thing, and I don't suggest any one of you all to drink it. All right? If you're gonna drink it, don't drink it like how they drink it. What they do is, I can't remember the name of it, right? I can't remember the name of it, but what they do is they have a little small cup and like a little kettle thing, right? And the cup has a ton of sugar, bam, 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 and they pour it, burp, 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 and this goes on for about an hour, right? And in the background, now remember, if you're not diabetic, you will skip pre-diabetic, diabetic 1, 2, 3, 4, and go to full diabetic within a 6 months, maybe in 3 months, to the way they have this sugar. The point I'm making though is, in the background is reggae music. Everywhere I go in Gambia, it's reggae music. They embrace reggae music. All right. So therefore, what I'm saying to you as a Rastafarian, that you can be the vanguard. You've had a bad experience. All right. Let the judicial system, it's not the Gambian people themselves, it's that you will have corruption in any part of any form of institution. It's just the way it is. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that's the way it is. But you don't let them break you. All right. Stand firm, because as I said, the community is behind you. I've spoken to enough people, they're behind you. I know automatically that the Gambian people are behind you because you're a Rastafarian. Because remember, they don't embrace the Jamaican culture, it's the Rastafarian culture they're embracing. So, Nati, as I said, stand firm. I please, somebody, if you get this video, send it to him and let him know that he can be the vanguard. And it's not just for the penitentiary, it's for anything that's called human rights over there. So long as you're not violating, because remember, the law is not supposed to be broken. You can't break, but who said you can't bend it? All right. On that note, I am from OmegaFMRadio.co.uk. You all have a pleasant afternoon. You please subscribe, leave a comment, like. Your comment is well appreciated. All right. And oh, almost forgot. When I go to Gambia, they don't look at me as a tourist. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. They look at me as a tourist, and I be saying I'm not a tourist, but I'm not a resident. All right. And Brenda said to me one day that when she go there and they saying, "Oh, come on back as a tourist," she said, "No, I'm not a tourist. I am bringing back my ancestors." So what I'm trying to say to each and every one of you, when you go, please, please, please go to Gambia, because you're bringing your ancestors that was taken away back in the days. You're bringing them all back. Every time you go, every new person you bring, all right, you're bringing back the ancestors. All right. So I'm going to leave you in the name of the Most High, whatever you call the Most High. Peace one. I'm out.